been a couple of weeks that I've been digging into the TypeScript performance because it's kind of slow. Like Python is Go is super fast. Python is like decent, and TypeScript, mostly because of the language, honestly, is like pretty slow. And I'm trying to find ways to make it faster. So I'm using Dagger Cloud in order to monitor my performance. And I have right now a repro case where like I'm going to run the same action inside the current Dagger engine and with the new Dagger engine, I mean the new runtimes that I'm working on. So all my progress, you can follow it on this pull request. I try to give updates whenever I can. So like you can see like the bug, the issue, and like if you're interested in knowing more about the like how it's going on, you can just check the pull request. And there is also an issue in order to track it. So I got a simple repo with current and new. I got my two Dagger engine, and so let's just try to first. So I'm just going to move that. So okay, good. Okay, so I'm just going to run the same command in like um both directory, but like with a different engine. So like generally so the init, it's taking slightly the same time, which is normal because like you cannot really optimize the initialization. What is really important is about the Dagger code. So I'm going to call a Dagger call here, and I'm going to call, if I can, okay, time Dagger call here. And we will wait for them to finish, and we're going to go to Dagger Cloud to see like if things have changed. So the new Dagger Cloud, the new Dagger engine took like 18 seconds to be executed. And the old one, we're gonna wait a bit, which is currently the performance you're gonna have if you use the up-to-date Dagger Cloud. The up-to-date Dagger engine, it's taking like 25 seconds. So like it's like reasonably much slower. And so I could find some way to optimize. I'm going to go through just after. Let's just see the trace. So I'm just going to update that. And we can see the trace. So we got the new, which took like 17 seconds, and the current one, which takes 25 seconds. And so this is, by the way, apart from the TypeScript SDK performance, this also teach me a lot on how to make my pipeline faster by like using Dagger Cloud and Dagger traces. So like even if I could not for now I'm like stuck and I cannot improve it as much as I want, I still learn a lot on how to use Dagger Cloud and stuff. So it can be pretty useful for those who have slow pipeline. So we can see that the actual execution take almost the same time, like 5.4 and 4.5. Like it's like reasonable, and we cannot really do something about it. But the important part, and the one that takes the much time, is the initialize section. So what I did basically is that I have dig into what's happening into the initialize, and I try to make it faster. So I did several things. Instead of using npm, I used yarn. I try to benefit from the cache, from removing any option that is not useful for the yarn installation. And like we can see that it's kind of way faster. So like this is the old way where we install dependencies. So we are checking if the package JSON exists. So I moved that to a Dagger function. So like we're not using it in shell. And then we do an npm install package only of the SDK. And so it takes 12 seconds, which is super slow compared to the yarn here, which is doing almost the same thing, like it's doing the npm install, but in a way faster way. So this is one of my updates. I also tried some stuff. Like what if I try to take benefit of the cache? I know for a fact that the TypeScript SDK is slow even when it's cached. So I try to see if my changes actually affect the initialize when an operation is cached. So we can see here then that my operation is finished, 10 seconds, which is decent. Here it's still 10, it's also 10 seconds with the current. So I'm still trying to figure out why. why I like the operation are still slow even when it's cached, because like we cannot really see a big difference between them. So we can see that the initialize of the new is faster, but my function took more time, and this is an issue because like before, like in the init, I mean in the first call, it's like okay, it's 1 second of difference, but there it's like almost 5 seconds. So I'm trying to understand because it seems like it's not really related to the runtime. It seems like it's related to something else that make sometimes the function slower. Like if I try to run it again, we might have a different behavior. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So like um, I'm stuck on that. So I found a way to optimize the initialization, especially for the first call. And now I'm trying to find a way to optimize the cache of the Dagger TS SDK. So here, 11 seconds, 12 seconds. So yeah, we still have an issue. Another behavior interesting that I'm working on is if you update a file, for example, let's update both my file and adding a new variable, a new like some text. What we want is to be as fast as possible. So if I try to run them again, the idea is to make sure that if you update your file, we are not completely re-downloading all your dependencies. So I'm trying to work on that too. It's one of my one of the paths I choose. And so here we can see that it's pretty unstable. I found some like I had some tests where it was faster. In the live it's slower, unfortunately. But like if we go back to some of my old tests, we can see that new is like 3 times faster than the current. Uh, so yeah, things I've done here. So some stuff I've done.
Sorry, before you get further into that, there's just a question on here
Oh,
of
sorry.
have you tried Bun? I don't know if the SDK with TypeScript would work with Bun.
So I tried Bun. We actually support Bun, the Bun runtime. But because most of the people I know who are using the TS SDK are using Node, I tried to first fix the Node issue with the runtime, and then I'm going to work on Bun after. Like we know, like the last time I tried, Bun was faster than Node with the current setup. But the idea is that to make both solutions, either you use Node or Bun, are reliable. Because right now, Node is like pretty slow and it's hard to work with it, it's hard to develop, and it's hard to use it in other module. But yeah, Bun should make things faster. So I have a diff here because I just want to show before closing this, uh, like some kind of changes I've done. So first, I try to optimize the installation to not ver to like some flags that are not essential and that takes time, which is mostly no verify, no progress, and I should this flag should not be here by the way. I can remove it right now. Okay. And about Node, I'm trying to use Yarn instead of npm, which is known to be faster, and I try to add a couple of flags to make it faster too. Also, some stuff I did was to change the order of the setup because in the current setup we are mounting the SDK sources after the user source files, which means that the SDK installation is never cached. So I try to reverse it. So I have the install SDK here, and then I have the user content here. So normally the SDK installation and the client generation should be cached. So it's not perfect, it's still unstable, but that's the idea. And also I try to like simplify things by using Dagger function. So with exec instead of just shell command, for example, this big shell command here, I just split it into like some with exec in order to make things faster. And something else I've done is that when you bind your Dagger module, when you want to use the SDK module from your module, you need to install it indeed. But because I've changed the order, and I currently install dependencies before that, I could remove a whole step where where instead of doing an npm install of the SDK, I can just do an npm pkg set. Why? Because I already installed the dependencies, meaning that the node modules are already part of the SDK. So I don't need to actually install any dependencies. I can just set the value in the package.json and it's going to do the trick. And also using the production run. So yeah, I'm doing a couple of improvements. I'm trying to make it as stable as possible. As you saw in the trace here, sometimes the new is way, way faster, like 3 times faster. And as in the demo here, it was sometimes faster, but like pretty much the same. So the idea is to always reach the same level of performance all the time. So I'm working on it, and it's going to be faster. So yeah, if you are interested in that, just like have a look at the pull request. You can send me a message. You can also try the engine from the pull request. There is a cool script name ag.dev in the Dagger repository. So if your pipeline is slow with TypeScript and you are using the TypeScript SDK, you can try to set the engine to the one in the peer and see if it makes things faster, which I would really like because I can get feedbacks and continue to improve until we reach something satisfying enough to merge it into main and get it released for everyone. So thank you so much.
There's actually a follow-up question. Emmanuel, did you want to ask it live? Otherwise, I can just repeat what you typed, whichever you prefer.
It's fine either ways. So I can ask you live. You said something about a shell command being slower than running a function with exec. Do you want to expand a bit more on that?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again. So why Dagger is fast? It's because it cached as much operation as possible. It's not like it's executing the shell faster. It's just like if the operation has already been done, it will not be done again. So here, before, for example, let's take node. I had a condition where I was like, okay, if my the package.json file exists, then I'm going to run npm install, and then I'm going to run the tsconfig updater, or otherwise I'm going to copy the template file. But the thing is that I could do it inside Dagger function, meaning that if an operation has already been done, it's not going to do it again. For example, here, I'm doing the if there. So like it's never going to run the npm install or tsconfig updater, and like it's completely ignored from the shell command. It's just going to copy the files. So like we make things we skip some of the operation. I'm pretty sure I can also optimize this by doing that. I'm going to do it. Okay, good. By reversing these two operations, I can probably win maybe some millisecond, maybe a second. So yeah, that's the idea. Like by converting your shell, like your complex shell instruction into multiple with exec, you can benefit from the cache and then reduce the time of your pipeline. I don't know if that was clear enough.
Yep, got it. Thanks.
Thank you so much.